Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. Please continue to help the victims of the Texas floods and the California wildfires. They really do still need our help as they are rebuilding. Today, I have 91-year-old Jim Paulk, who was in the Naval Academy Class in 1957 and has compiled up a list of stories called Shaking Up the World. So, Jim, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Joey. I appreciate you inviting me.
Okay, so explain to me, in reference to what led you, to go into the Navy, etc.
Well, I always wanted to when I was a kid. I think those of us that grew up as kids during World War II and our fathers and all uncles way to war, I think we got indoctrinated a lot just by playing in the military, and I always wanted to go into the Naval Academy. That was my dream in life, was to get into Annapolis, and it took me 3 years. I didn't get in out of high school. I went away to a military college for 2 years before I got my appointment, and in fact, I was at a golf tournament in Georgia somewhere, and a friend from another city came running out of the course and said, Jimmy, your mother called. She wants you to call home. She wants to get home immediately. And I said, well, I'm not walking off the golf course in the middle of a match. I'll call her when I get done. So I called my mother, and she said, you have an appointment to Annapolis. And that was a dream come true for me.
Okay. And so, share us your story of being part of this in reference to, being a member of the Naval Academy class. What did you do after you graduated from the Naval Academy?
Well, the first thing I did was I got married the day after I graduated. And then we went out to the West Coast, San Diego, and I was on a fast attack transport, and for about a year, and then I went to submarine school and for 6 months, and then I went to the USS Redfin, the 272, a submarine.
Okay, and what else happened while you were in the service?
Well, I first served as electronics officer, then communications, and then I was engineering officer. And our boat had an extra 32-foot section in it. And we went in the shipyard in Philadelphia, and they put a lot of the equipment that was going on the Fleet ballistic missile submarines before the George Washington, our first Polaris submarine that came out. And so we did a lot of testing of the equipment that was on board, and actually made a simulated patrol North Atlantic Circle, and got into Faslane, Scotland, where the boats were going, and in Bergen, Norway. We had a great trip and did a lot of trouble. We were the first submarine to get into Cape Canaveral, and while we're down there, we got to go out and watch them launch Polaris missiles. So it was pretty different, and it was exciting and different. We had a lot of technicians from all the other companies, Sperry Gyroscope, General Electric, Westinghouse, MIT, Caltech, and a lot of people at Bell Labs that came aboard to test the equipment and find out what was going to be appropriate for the Polaris missile submarines and the guidance system.
Okay. And so you mentioned to me that these stories in the Shaking Up the World include an astronaut, a captive of the Japanese, an Auschwitz survivor as a child, the architect of the GPS, prisoner of the Hanoi Hilton, a hijacked captive of the Hezbollah terrorists, an NFL referee, and a captain in jail.
Exactly. There are there's a diversity of stories in this book, and it's an exciting book. And I think it's people remark that it's inspirational because it tells them what kind of career that you can have in life, and life is evolutionary. There's no way you're going to know what the heck you're going to be doing 30, 40 years from now, but it evolves. And as Yogi Berra said, you get to a cross fork in the road, you take it. So you got a lot of decisions to make, and it's kind of interesting to see the kind of decisions that all these people had to make and the things that they did and the life they went through. You mentioned Auschwitz. Art Aronson was a Polish Jew, and his family were loaded on boxcars in eastern Poland. And when they got to Auschwitz in the western part of the country, they unloaded him from the boxcar, and the wind was blowing in that direction, and they could smell the burning flesh from the ovens, and they knew they didn't have much of a future. The Nazis divided him into three groups: the little boys in one group, the women and girls in a group, and the men in a group. And Art later found out that his mother and his sister were executed immediately. His father was put to work in some kind of a shop that they had him working in, and he did errands in the camp. And when the war was over, his father went to New York. He went back to Eastern Poland because they didn't know where one another was. And it was 2 years after the war before they put them back together again. And then he eventually got an appointment to Annapolis, a very sharp guy. He spoke five languages. But that's a different kind of story. He even had the tattoo on his forearm like all the Auschwitz prisoners had. But that's a fun story. But all of these stories are different. I mean, how many people could say, I had a friend and classmate that spent 3 days on the moon? I mean, that's big time stuff. And Charlie Duke is amazing, Apollo 16. And Brad Parkinson, who was the architect of the GPS system that we all take for granted today. And he's the one that gave it to us. There's a photo in the book of Prince Charles presenting him with the Queen Elizabeth II Award for the GPS in Europe. And it's a very poignant photo. But he's received awards and honorary degrees from all over the world for what he did, and it's something that he gave to mankind that's pretty significant.
Okay, so what's next for you, Jim? Where is this going to now for you?
For me, yeah, I am. You believe it or not, I'm collecting stories to do another book. And the working title is How I Found You. It's a story about love and relationships. And I've got some great stories. I've got one of a DJ that has a contest, and when the woman comes to collect the prize, she is it. But the first thing he did, he found out when he made the announcement on the radio, there wasn't anybody listening. He didn't get any response, but it's a funny story. And there's another story about two little girls that knew one another and their relationship. And there's another story about a couple of fishermen that had a special bond. So I don't think there's anything in life more important than love and relationships. And I wanted to share these stories. I've got about 30 stories now, and I need a couple more to finish my book. If anybody wants to send me a story, I'll be happy to look at it.
And how can they do that, Jim?
Well, they can send it to me. I'm Jim D. Paulk at yahoo.com. JIM, D as in Delta, PAULK at yahoo.com. And I'd love to get some more stories. I think they're significant. And I believe this book is going to be inspirational and really handy for a lot of people to see what other people went through. And some of the marriages are not the first marriage. It's people that maybe the first marriage was a disaster, but then they found love, and it's a wonderful, wonderful relationship. And that's what I want to share, because I don't think there's anything in life more important than love and relationship.
All right. So you can email your story to Jim. The email is right there on the screen. Jim, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your service. And when the new book comes out, if you want to come back on the podcast, just let me know.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, everyone, for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.